I know that I am between you and drinks and sunshine, as he just said, but hopefully we'll have a good time in this final conversation for the day. As he said, we're here to talk about pragmatic uses of AI in hospitality specifically. And I'll start with a brief introduction. My name is Satvika. I work for ZS Associates. At ZS Associates, we use data and analytics to help find pragmatic, implementable solutions for our clients across a variety of industries. And what I do specifically is that, and specifically for go-to-market and marketing challenges, and my clients include hospitality as well. So I talked about pragmatism several times just there already, and that is the focus of our conversation today. How can we use AI pragmatically? How can we think about it pragmatically? What we'll talk about is first, setting the stage a little bit, defining AI and providing you with what we hope is a useful framework for you to think about when and where you should use this new generation of AI tools for yourself and for your organizations. Then we'll talk about some use cases specific to hospitality that we think are a good fit for AI and some that maybe aren't such a good fit as well. I'll after that talk about a few ways you can start to plan for the future. What are the things that you can do within your organization to prepare for using AI within your organization? Time permitting, I'll also answer any questions, and time not permitting, happy to answer those questions afterwards as well. All right, so let's start by defining AI at least a little bit more for us all here in the room. Very simply, AI is when technology is doing human-like things. That is about as simple as we can get. Now, to get a little bit more complex here, where we've been for a long time is in this AI 1.0 world, or narrow AI. That's when a model or a tool is trained to do a particular task. A lot of training goes into getting that model or tool to do something very effectively. And then it does, and it can save you a lot of time, it can be automated, it can be more efficient. Where we are moving now is in AI 2.0. There's been a paradigm shift in AI that allows us to now do more with the AI. There's this introduction of transformer models, which is what this fun little visual is referring to on the screen here. Transformer models allow AI to do parallel processing. Essentially, that means do multiple things at once, take in multiple sources of information at once. So where perhaps before the AI might read a sentence linearly and be able to tell you what the next word or phrase ought to be, in AI 2.0, the AI can read the whole text simultaneously, understand the content, and help create new connections and ideas based on what it's read. AI 1.0 is like a chef's knife. It's very good at one thing. AI 2.0 is like a Swiss Army knife. It's pretty good at many things. And that Swiss Army knife is something that we can all use a lot more in our day-to-day. It's actually opened up a lot of possibilities for users who aren't data scientists to get involved as well. And so that's led to this hype that we've heard about, I'm sure you all have heard about in the industry, of people using AI more and more and more. It's very exciting. There's a lot of ways in to start thinking about AI 2.0 specifically. And that also has led to a lot of questions that we have gotten from our clients, at the very least, about how we are using AI and what more should we be doing with AI 2.0 specifically. This is a great question. And it brings to mind a potential challenge. You'll see the stat here that we stole from McKinsey, but there are many others like them out there. Using AI 2.0 at the end of the day is a technology transformation. And technology transformations have a low success rate. And that's because we want to make sure that when we do go through a technology transformation, we take a pragmatic approach to doing so. We think this applies to using AI 2.0 just like it applies to any other technology transformation. Where this can start is making sure that you are using AI 2.0 in the best use cases to solve the problems that make the most sense for AI. To which end, we have a few suggestions, a framework, if you will, for what you could think about in order to determine if AI 2.0 is a good fit to solve the problem that you have in mind. I'll walk you through these now. So the first one is that you should be working to solve a high ROI problem. A high ROI problem is one where if you were to solve it, you'll see an increase in revenue or a decrease in cost. The cost of using AI 2.0 is nothing to sneeze at. So we do want to make sure that you're working towards a solution that's going to drive value in the end, right? Relatedly, you'll want to look for something that is at scale. It should be a problem that you want to solve multiple times in different ways or have a large volume of problems in that area to solve. And this relates, of course, to being a high ROI problem. You'll also want to make sure you're using unstructured data. Unstructured data is things like words, text, sentences, website content, videos. There's a lot of different types of unstructured data. What unstructured data is not is a really nice, neat Excel workbook that has really clear labels in all of the tables. If that's what you have, that's fantastic, and you should think about AI 1.0. Additionally, you'll want to make sure that novelty is something that you want out of this tool, out of this solution, because it's what's going to happen. AI 2.0 will give multiple different types of solutions to a problem. If you want the same thing over and over again, automated, simple, AI 1.0 is a great fit for your solution. Lastly, human oversight should be possible because it's in fact required. As we talked about, AI 2.0 is at the beginning of its journey right now. We're still learning a lot about it and making it better. As a result, often AI 2.0 will have hallucinations. Hallucinations are things where you might ask for one thing and get something a little bit different and it doesn't quite make sense. So an example might be you ask, if you're using Midjourney, you ask for a human with two hands. You and I might think that obviously means one on the left, one on the right. The AI might interpret that as two on the left and two on the right. And that might not be what you're looking for. Maybe it is, but probably it's not. So these are a few of the tenets that we feel will help you think through when and where you can leverage AI 2.0 best within your organization. And I think I forgot to say it at the beginning, so I'll say it now. AI 2.0 is like generative AI. A lot of things you've heard about right now, AI, OpenAI, ChatGPT, all fall under this umbrella of AI 2.0. Okay. So with this framework in mind, I'd love to walk you through some use cases where we think AI 2.0 is a pretty good fit for what you could do and what problems you could solve around guest feedback and content creation. As you guys have been hearing for the day, I think, at this point, these are obviously areas that are important for hospitality in general and also specifically direct bookings. In guest feedback can be not only around the stay itself, but also the booking experience and how you could improve the booking experience on your website or app. Content creation is, of course, important to generate demand, as Michelle was just talking about, and also to make sure that people are, when you're generating that demand, making the booking on the platform that you would like them to in a direct way. Okay, so I'll start with guest feedback. Okay, as you guys know, the hospitality industry has in a lot of ways invented the comment card. You've got lots of experience working with guest feedback, and it drives a lot of decision making already, which is fantastic. That data is so vast, and there's so much out there. If you have a voice of the customer system already, you might be using this in some ways to understand using kind of scale values, 1 to 5 ratings. You might also have a sense of what probably matters to the guest in their booking, in their stay, and you're evaluating that data. But parsing this volume of unstructured data available through reviews is very time-consuming, very difficult. And getting to the level of depth that you can possibly get to when people are giving you unprompted feedback, doing that by hand or by Excel is really hard. However, that's where AI 2.0 can come into play and be really, really valuable here. It's a great fit for 2.0 because it is a high ROI problem. If you're able to understand how you can make your booking experience better and your guest stay experience better, you can drive more value and loyalty with your organization. It's at a large scale. You have so many reviews and data points available to you, and they are unstructured because it is guest feedback. It's kind of written out. You don't have an easy way to review it. It's highly novel. No two interactions are the same. Lastly, there's a yellow up here for human oversight, because you do actually need to have human oversight, not necessarily in the process, but more on the outcome to make sure you're understanding, are the insights making sense, using that sense check, and why our brains are so important through all of this process as well, to make sure there's no hallucinations as a part of that outcome. So I'll give you an example of what this could look like very simplistically, to use AI to read and understand guest reviews. Suppose you have a review, in this case one that's about a booking process, and you want to understand what was the positives and negatives of that review. You can use a prompt in a tool like OpenAI or GPT to actually see what people are saying and summarize what they're finding. Now, if this is for one review, I trust that most of you can read that on your own and summarize it on your own. But imagine this for 100 reviews or 1,000 reviews and being able to summarize all of that information and provide some recommendations of things you could do differently to your team or to your boss. That's when you start to see the power in the tools and make it more valuable for yourself and have something useful for your audience as well. We've also been able to take this one step further at ZS, going a little bit beyond just understanding what people are mentioning into what's actually driving the impact of satisfaction to make people make decisions about whether they will or won't stay again. So I won't spend too long in this, but there is a lot more depth that you can get to as well, going beyond available to the public tools. We've seen this come to life with our clients as well, and that's why we believe it's a great fit for AI 2.0. We worked with an airline company that had a sense of their booking process and knew where they were seeing fall off in their booking process. Through all of their back-end data, they knew that much, but what they couldn't figure out is why was it in that particular place in the booking process? In fact, it was in the search phase. Why were they seeing drop-off in that particular phase? That's hard to understand just from data points. What we were able to do is scrape reviews from the App Store, the Google Play Store, and their website to actually understand what were the complaints, what was causing people to fall off there. And we were able to help them figure out how to solve that problem really, really specifically. It turned out to be related to something about how the search results were showing up and how they could compare across different search results. And that was something people wanted to see a different view. That specificity allows the company to then really surgically make a change. Instead of overhauling a whole system that was mostly fine, but there's one area that needed a change. They could get really specific and do things a little bit better and faster as a result. I'll move into content creation. As I'm sure you all know, and you've also been hearing about all day, content creation is very important, and a lot of it is happening. You've also heard about how personalization is incredibly important now, and we want to have more and more content to feed exactly what's going to be valuable to a given audience member. However, doing this takes time and effort, and creating all this content is not an easy process, as I'm sure a lot of you have experienced yourself. With that in mind, AI 2.0 in the content creation realm is a great fit. Why so? First of all, it's high ROI. You can save a lot of cost if you're able to actually use an AI tool to help create some of this content, whether it's visuals, subject lines, calls to action. You can actually save some time and effort. It is very large scale given the quantity of content people are looking for right now. And inherently, creative content is unstructured and novel. I don't think that comes as a surprise to anyone here. Lastly, human oversight is very important still. This is because, as I mentioned, hallucinations are possible. You want to use AI 2.0 as a part of your creative process, buffered by a brief on one end perhaps, and review and approval on the other end, so that you're still reviewing and making sure it all makes sense. Very simple example of what this could look like on the screen here. You can use a prompt to create multiple different versions of a visual, multiple different calls to action, and then see what's working or not working, and what's actually driving more engagement with your audiences. We've seen this work for our clients as well, and that's why we think it's a good fit for AI 2.0. We worked with a fast casual chain that actually already had a really great CRM system in place. They were using AI 1.0 to help decide what the next best type of email or type of engagement should be with their potential users, their potential customers. But they wanted to get even more personalized in their email campaigns specifically. Doing that requires a lot of time and effort, and so they were unable to do it with humans. We were able to help by using AI to leverage the data they already had in their system, their loyalty system, to say, okay, what more could we do? How much more personalized could we get? And generate lots of subject line variations that were then tested and used very quickly in email campaigns to drive a 15% increase in their click-through rates, which was a great success for them. So I've covered a couple of use cases that are a good fit for AI 2.0. There are also some use cases that are not such a good fit, and I'd love to walk you through those just a little bit. The first is pricing. A couple of reasons here. One, you're not dealing with unstructured data. Your pricing data is inherently structured, and if it's not, then you might have a different problem to solve, and that's a different thing and totally worth solving, but probably not with AI. AI 2.0 specifically. You're also not looking for a lot of novelty in the output here. When it comes to customer-facing interactions, and that's like chatbots or other one-to-one interactions between an AI and a human, we don't feel like that's ready for prime time right now. A couple of reasons here. Number one, the ability to have human oversight when you're putting AI directly with the human, with the guest, for example, is very limited because that's a one-to-one interaction. It's happening instantaneously. And the reason that's a problem is because of the novelty factor. Because we do still see hallucinations with AI 2.0, if you're not able to have that human oversight, you run the risk of, for example, sending your, if you're using a chatbot at the front desk, you might send your guest to a McDonald's that doesn't exist. And we don't really want that. We want to be more accurate and useful for our guests, right? So that's an example of a few applications that don't really pass the test. Now, with the couple minutes we have left here, perhaps as you've heard me talk, you've thought about a few use cases of your own that you feel might be a good fit for AI 2.0. What do you do to get started? That feels like a big thing to take on, right? In that context, there's a few things you can start to do. You can start to get moving towards getting your company ready for AI 2.0. This falls along AI strategy, data and technology, and people and processes. In AI strategy, you want to spend some time thinking about what role is AI 2.0 going to play for your organization. For some organizations, AI 2.0 is an efficiency play. And that's great. That means you can partner externally, work with another vendor, buy something off the shelf. For other people, AI 2.0 is a competitive advantage, or you want it to be a competitive advantage. You may then want to be building something internally. And your strategy and roadmap will look very different depending on which of those you feel is true for your organization. That will also impact what types of quick win opportunities you start to look for when using AI 2.0. The next area is in data and technology. A couple of things you want to do around data and technology. First of all, begin to consolidate all of the data that you have already available. That might be loyalty data, booking data, stay data, any other types of data that you have available. Consolidate and help those different data talk to each other. The more you do that ahead of time, the easier it will be to layer any kind of AI, including AI 2.0, on top of that. Also, it's a great practice overall. You'll also want to update your data and security policies. We've all heard, I'm sure, examples of people putting things out into public AI tools. Like there was a recent example of a legal brief being put on OpenAI, and it wasn't supposed to be public. So we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that our employees know what's allowed and not allowed, and we're all prepared for that conversation. Lastly, when it comes to data and technology, you'll want to start to think about what is the AI solution acquisition and vetting process that you want to put in place. Traditional technology vetting processes can be very long. And with that in mind, you'll want to think about, do you have any areas that you want to speed up so you can start to leverage AI 2.0 before the idea is done and gone, as things are moving very quickly. The last thing I'll say is around people and process. You'll want to identify some new roles And these don't necessarily need to be new people, but rather new hats that existing people can wear in order to make sure that you're thinking through the new needs for AI technology and AI flexibility. And to that end, you'll also be able to then determine what are the different criteria for success when you are looking to make an AI investment.